I laughingly say that I was a Sunday school dropout. The Sunday school teacher in the senior high class was boring. She didn't know how to keep control of the class, and it was awful. So I went home and told my mother that I was not going back to Eunice Stewart's Sunday school class. The worst part of that was that Eunice Stewart was my mother's best friend. So we came to an impasse, and, what were we going to do? But back in those days, the Methodist Church had what we call district training schools, where people would come into a church and they would do a training for teachers. So in October of that year, I was 15, and there was a lady named Olga Hodge, Mrs. Graham B. Hodge, and she was teaching a class for people who taught preschool children. I didn't enroll, I didn't ask anybody, I just went. And at the break, she came to me and asked how I happened to be there. I said, I want to teach in the Sunday school, and they won't let me, and I'm not going back to my Sunday school. And the next day, she talked with the pastor and with my mother, and lo and behold, I was able to help the kindergarten teacher from then on with the kindergarten Sunday school. That was my path. I never looked back. I knew that that's what I would be doing for the rest of my life, through a series of coincidences or God incidences, whatever you want to call them. In 1954, I became the director of children's ministries at First Methodist Church, Ada, Oklahoma. The second summer that I was there, during Bible school, it was hot. We'd taken the toddlers out on the playground, and one of the little girls ran down the sidewalk, fell, and knocked a big blue knot on her head. And as we rocked and talked, she began to quit sobbing and began to smile a little, and I began to talk about the pictures around the room, and I said, Debbie, do you know what this is? Kitty cat. What does the kitty cat say? You know how you talk to a 2-year-old. I came to the picture of Jesus and the children, and I said, Debbie, do you know who that is? And she looked at me, and she looked at the picture, and she said, it's you. And I said, oh no, Debbie, it's Jesus. And she looked again, and she said, but it's got the children. And in that moment, I knew that my path was set. So my ministry for 49 years was mostly with children in the church and their parents and their grandparents and all the other people that affect their lives and make the church alive and well. You know, I have laughed about doing a stewardship campaign based on the little boy with the sack of loaves and fishes. He didn't stop to say, is this good enough, or this is so little that, it wouldn't make any difference. He just simply said, I have something to share. And when we have something to share, then God can multiply that, because we can do together a lot more than we can do alone. And I feel the same way about our giving to the local church. I can do so much more through participating in the church, both with giving my money and giving my time, to make a difference in the world. And I think when we've been given, then we need to give back. Don't be afraid to take the next step. Be the little boy who holds up your sack and says, I have something to share. And you will discover that as you share, it will grow, and your sharing will reach out farther than you ever believed it could.